Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy LastChanceFPS, or you guys can call me by my name Chance. In today's video, guys, I'm going to be giving you my Call of Duty Modern Warfare Beta Week 1 first impressions / review. So for any of you guys that weren't aware, this past week from Thursday all the way up into Monday morning, or just for 4 days, the first week, like I said, of the beta for the new Call of Duty dropped. And honestly, guys, I have a lot to say about this game that I'm going to be breaking down. I streamed the game for 3 of the 4 days for about a total of 15 hours on my channel, as well as I also played a couple hours off stream as well. So I definitely put in the time to kind of compile this list of all the positives and negatives, or pros and cons of this game. So yeah, guys, with all that stuff being said, I have a lot to dive into in today's video. And if you guys go on to enjoy the rest of today's video, it'd be greatly appreciated if you guys drop a like on this video, as well as commenting down below your guys' thoughts and opinions. And also, if you guys are new, definitely subscribe to the channel and turn on bell notifications so you guys never miss a future video here on my channel, because hopefully I'm going to be playing a lot of Call of Duty this year. But yeah, guys, with all that stuff being said, let's get into the rest of today's review. So starting off this list, I'm going to be going over the positives. And the first positive of this game is that it is a boots on the ground Call of Duty game. Thank God. Nice. Next up, obviously, the graphics of every new Call of Duty game improves every year, time and time again. So honestly, I really don't have a lot to say for this as well, but the graphics, again, are stellar, and I definitely appreciate in this new Call of Duty as well. Next up, we have the time to kill, and I don't really have as big of a deal with the time to kill. I think it's fine. I think you can make the argument it's a little bit faster than previous Call of Duties, plus it's kind of tough because we're just coming off of Black Ops 4 that had the fastest time to kill of any Call of Duty game ever. But in my personal opinion, I think the time to kill is fine. I really didn't complain too much about dying too fast per se, so I think the time to kill is definitely a positive in this game. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is the hit detection, and at first I thought the hit detection was a little bit wonky, especially the first day of when the beta went live. I had a couple questionable deaths in my opinion, but I feel like as the beta kind of progressed over the weekend, I definitely feel that the hit detection was improved on, and I think it's just in a really good state now. So next up is the kill streaks, and even though we were kind of limited in terms of what kill streaks we were allowed to use because of the level caps, I did get a chance to use all of the kill streaks that were available in the beta. Obviously, the 2 UAVs, just the standard one, as well as the personal UAV, is pretty much set in stone. Like, that's just nothing that we haven't already received in a Call of Duty game. The cruise missile, I think, was probably my least favorite streak in the game, just because I feel like it's kind of like a really shitty predator missile that we've had in the past. Obviously, the VTOL, chopper gunner, Pavlo, all those streaks went ham for me. None of them really did bad per se, but I feel like the kill streaks that we were allowed to use were really good for what they were worth. So honestly, I think the kill streaks overall were definitely going to be a good or positive in this game. Next up is going to be the servers, and honestly, I think overall I had very limited kind of connection problems. I didn't really feel like my ping was too high, or that people were just like ghosting my bullets and stuff. I think the servers were absolutely spot on, which is kind of weird because generally in a Call of Duty game, that's not the case most times. So the fact that I had very limited kind of bad experiences connection wise, I thought the servers were great, so I just had to put that into the positives for this beta. Next up, we have the class format. And honestly, you guys can kind of like dispute this in the comments down below if you guys disagree, but personally, I think kind of like the traditional class format that this game has in terms of a primary, secondary, lethal, tactical, 3 perks is just really cut and dry. I think I have no problem with that whatsoever. The fact that the class setup is just such like straight to the point and it's not really too confusing, I could definitely appreciate that as well. Next up, we have a smaller feature that has been completely new to a Call of Duty game. It's never been done before, and that is the ability to edit your class mid-game, which I at first didn't really like because I was worried that like my teammates or randoms would be spending too much time editing their class mid-match, and we'd basically have a 1 or 2 man down kind of disadvantage, and it would just screw over the gameplay. But honestly, you really don't do that too often. Like, it's only now and again, especially like maybe when you just unlock like a brand new attachment or weapon or whatever it might be. I think it is a nice addition because you also have to take into consideration that you can change your class mid-game and counter someone else that is using a certain play style, or just like if they're camping with like claymores, you could put on a class with flak jacket to kind of counter that. So I feel like it does more good than bad. And the final positive that I have in this review is that the 10v10 game modes are great. Personally, I like the 10v10 modes way better than the 6v6, especially because the maps. The fact that this game has 10v10 ability, which is pretty much just ground war from previous COD games, I think is great. And that is going to be the final positive that I have for this review. So let's get into the negatives.
How did they think that was okay to even put it in the game? I'm so sick of this fucking company.
So the first glaring negative or con that I had for this game has to be the maps. Now, at first when the game came out, it only had 3 maps in the beta, and then they added a 4th map, I believe, on the 3rd day of the beta. The 3 maps, I believe, are Azmir Cave, which is easily my least favorite map in this game by far, like no questions asked. Next up, we have Grozny Raid, which honestly plays pretty decent in 10v10. If you play that map in the 6v6, it is just camper's paradise. Like, I just struggle really hard on that map. I don't really like Grozny Raid that much better, but it is definitely playable in the 10v10 game modes. And then the other 2 maps are going to be Hackney Yard, which is the smallest map in the beta, as well as Gunrunner. And personally, Gunrunner is going to be my favorite map in the beta, and that was also, I believe, the newest or 4th map that they added in the beta as well. None of these maps, in my opinion, I just felt like were like really good, like standout maps. I mean, outside of Gunrunner, I just felt like all the maps were either average or like really bad. Like, they just did not play well. They had really bad flow. They had way too many spots that people could just hide in corners and just like sit in a building all game. Like, the maps were terrible, and that is easily my least favorite thing in the beta. And I could just not stress, all 4 of them were just bad. Like, none of them were standout maps, and I'm really worried for the most part that if these are the 4 maps that they're choosing to put in the beta, what the hell is going to come out when the full game releases? Like, I believe they said they're going to have like 15 or 16 multiplayer maps, which is great, and I really want to hear that. But the fact that these 4 maps pretty much all suck for the most part, that's not a good sign, and that's why I had a huge problem with the maps in the beta. Next up is going to be the spawns. Now,
the trash! It's the game! It sucks! Blame the shit!
For instance, the spawns on Hackney Yard were just god awful. Like, the amount of times that I was spawn killed, or someone just spawned right next to me and just had a free shot in the back.
Spawn die, spawn die, spawn die, spawn die, spawn die, spawn die!
Was just absolutely insane. Like, these spawns were completely wonky. They need to totally fix that. I think Hackney Yard, coincidentally also being the smallest map in the beta, had by far the worst spawns. The amount of times I was playing like domination or something and I was expecting a spawn flip or something like that, and they instead spawned right next to me and I get shot in the back, or I would get 2 kills and I would be weak and then some dude would spawn right next to me and finish me off, was absolutely insane, and it was really infuriating to play against. I don't know what it is. The spawns are just really bad. And another map that I'm going to be getting into with Grozny Raid, I'm going to show you guys why the spawns are so terrible. Now, I put together this map in terms of the domination, like major spawns, as well as these kind of like open areas that have very limited to no cover. It just blows my mind like how they could design a map that is this poorly laid out. So if you literally spawn in the back of the map, you have to cross an open street with no cover to just get out of your spawn. And if the other team has their home flag as well as the B flag and they're just camping and chilling out in the middle buildings, you're screwed. You can't get out of your map. You are going to die repeatedly. And the amount of times this happened to me on Grozny Raid, as well as some other maps with just overall bad spawn mechanic, was just so infuriating. Like, you guys have no idea. Grozny Raid, I just had to lay out and kind of show you guys in this video how bad this map is designed. It just blows my mind why they would do this. Next up, which I also kind of briefly touched on or mentioned in the past, is going to be the camping. The camping is notorious in this game. I think it had a lot to do with the minimap, but even when they brought the minimap back, which is going to be another topic that I'm going to bring up later in this video, people were still camping everywhere. Like, the amount of random buildings and windows and line of sights that people had with these maps and just utilizing camping was absolutely insane. I played a number of games this weekend in a full party with all of us communicating. We're all above or great level players, and if we ran around and rushed the enemy team, we would be happy if we barely went even. So yeah, the camping was just next level. I don't think I've seen a Call of Duty with this bad of camping since probably Call of Duty Ghosts, which is the first one that comes to mind. I really don't know how they're gonna fix this. Like, the camping is very bad. The next thing I'm gonna bring up is going to be, again, the minimap. Now, yes guys, I was totally on the bandwagon of bring the minimap back. No one asked to take the minimap out of the game. It is in every single Call of Duty. Why they would do this just makes makes no sense to me at all. And then they do finally bring back the minimap on the 3rd day of the beta, and guess what they do? Enemies, when they shoot their gun, don't show up on the minimap. What's the point of bringing back the minimap and not adding that feature? Like, that is a big part of what makes the minimap so useful in Call of Duty. The minimap is not just useful for chasing red dots like some people proclaim it to be. It's good to also know just generally if people are around you, like enemies shooting their gun, as well as also where teammates are, where they're looking, where they're located on the map, because I don't want to spin in a circle seeing where my teammates are constantly. I just want to glance at the minimap, know where they are, and then that will give me enough intel or information to determine what's my best route, where should I go, where's the enemies going to be spawning, everything. It just really shows you like who are the dog shit players on this game, because all the people that actually play the game and are good and have kind of experience in this genre of a game actually know what they're talking about. And also a minor tweak that I would like as well that I, again, haven't seen too many people proposing, zoom out the minimap. The minimap is very, very small already. So if you're gonna leave it that small compared to like other Call of Duty games, at least zoom it out so I see more, because I could barely see in front or to the side or behind me with the minimap because it's zoomed so far in.
Help me! Help me!
Next up is going to be the footsteps. Now, I was really kind of concerned about the audio in this game. I wasn't really quite sure if sound horn was going to be very, very prevalent in this game. But another frustration I had with that is that your teammate footsteps were equally as loud. So the amount of times that I would be confused if they were my teammates' footsteps or if they were the actual enemy footsteps got me killed a lot. So they need to adjust kind of like the teammate footstep volumes as well as maybe even yours, because I want to be able to distinct which footsteps I'm actually hearing, but the general audio in this game is actually pretty good. Next up, in my opinion, is going to be just the sweatiness of these lobbies. Now, I understand that this is a beta. Most of the players are dedicated Call of Duty players, but it was insane the amount of matches that me, and even when I was playing with my buddies in a full party, were getting. I was going like 20 and 18 every game. No one was dropping streaks. Everyone was just dying left and right because everyone is snap aiming. I don't want to jump on the hype that like, oh, this game has skill-based matchmaking, and you almost have to assume that every Call of Duty game has some level of skill-based matchmaking. It's just a matter of maybe how much they implemented into the game. The sweaty lobbies were really annoying. I had no chance of getting a nuke at all playing this weekend. Even when it became an open beta, I really didn't see a whole lot change in terms of like the players that I was getting matched up against. Hopefully when the full game comes out, not as many sweaty players and lobbies I'm going to be getting, because it got old really quick and it almost made me just not want to play the game anymore. Another thing that I didn't like as well is that when you earn kill streaks in a single life, they do not loop anymore. So obviously in other past Call of Duty games, maybe outside of COD 4 to my knowledge, every time you would actually earn a kill streak, or at least your third and highest earned kill streak, you would, in the same life, it would loop the kill streak. So you'd start back up trying to earn your first, second, third streak again in the same life. But in Modern Warfare, once you earn your final kill streak in the same life, it does not loop or stack. So you have to die to earn the streaks again. I absolutely hate this. And it also made going for like even like nukes and stuff basically almost impossible, because I couldn't like loop like personal UAVs or UAVs, regular ones and whatnot. What's the point of that? Again, I just do not understand these Call of Duty developers, or just developers in general, that feel like they know what's better for us, even though that is a staple feature in most Call of Duty games, and that is something that no one asked for. Really easy fix. I hope they change this, because if they don't, getting nukes is going to be virtually impossible. Now, the next thing I really wasn't a fan of is going to be the weapon balancing. Personally, I really only run ARs and SMGs, so I really didn't use the other weapons as much, but from what I've seen other people using, basically shotguns and LMGs were useless. Snipers were really good, obviously, because it seems like every single Call of Duty has at least one sniper that is just god tier. But yeah, the weapon balancing was definitely wonky. The MP5 also was easily the best gun in the beta, with the M4 being a really solid second option. But even some of the other guns in that class really couldn't compete. Like, I did not like the M13 assault rifle as well as the AK-47. They just did not compete with the level that the M4 was at. And the MP7 surprisingly wasn't as good as I thought it would be. And the AUG is definitely a solid option as well. So I hope they tweak the weapon balancing, because you would obviously want it to be in a state where that every weapon is viable, but in this game, that's definitely not the case. Next up, we have the not being rewarded for playing objectives. Now, obviously in this game, it has kill streaks, not like a point streak or a score streak system like other Call of Duties have, like Black Ops, for instance. So I understand not necessarily getting like maybe like 1 kill credit worth if you capture like a domination flag, but come on, developers, do you really not understand that if you do not have an incentive to playing the objectives, that is going to screw over players that are actually trying to win the game, and people are only going to camp because they're not going to be rewarded for playing the objective and only care about their kill death ratio? Like, come on, man. Like, it's pretty common sense. Playing the objective literally granted you nothing but score, and it most times than not got you killed off a streak. So I think they need to change this as well, in my opinion. So another thing that I really wasn't a huge fan of, that honestly I don't really again hear too many people bringing up, is that the headshot multipliers in Modern Warfare is very, very high compared to other Call of Duty games. Normally a headshot multiplier would either be 0, there wouldn't be one, or maybe there was like a 0.10 or 0.20, but in this game it's like double. So you could literally get 2 tapped in the head with some of the higher damage weapons, and I just feel like the headshot multiplier is a little bit high. I feel like they should scale it down a little bit. I don't like when there is no headshot multiplier, because I think that's just dumb. So I think there should be a headshot multiplier. I don't know exactly where it should be. Maybe it should be somewhere between like 0.25 and maybe like 0.5. And I do understand the fact that it's really good kind of like countering people that are just sitting on a head glitch. But again, I just feel like it being double is just way too high, and I think they should scale it back. Another small feature that they changed in this game that I originally thought would be cool, but I found really quickly that I did not like at all, is going to be the new door mechanics in this game. If you guys notice, it's more like Battlefield, where you can kind of like open and interact with doors, or you can just slam right through them and fly them open and whatnot, which is actually pretty cool if you think about it. But I saw a number of clips on social media and YouTube and whatnot where someone would crack a door the smallest little sliver, and they would be leaning through it with their gun, and as soon as you walk into their line of sight, you're dead. Like, it's just so dumb and cheap. And I also noticed that if you guys slam open the door, it is very, very loud, so that will totally give away your position. Again, they're just stealing ideas from other games, which I just do not like as well. Stick true to your guns and what makes Call of Duty good, not taking ideas from other games. I don't even know if they could change this. I think that's just going to be a feature in this game that I'm going to have to deal with. Another small detail that I noticed that I really didn't understand is that if you guys remember, in obviously a normal Call of Duty game, there would be the enemy red name above their player character, but in this game, for whatever reason, they have it all the way to the right of the player.
What?
I don't know why they did that. I think this is a really easy fix, though, if they just go back to how it normally is, which is center mass and whatnot.
Bitch, I hope the fuck you do.
And then the final, and I mean final, negative that I have for this game, yes guys, the negatives are definitely outweighing the positives in this review video. That is going to be the fact that the party modes in this game, or just when you try to like party up with your friends to play in a match, they still don't work.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
I remember playing this game at 10 a.m. on Thursday when the beta first dropped with my buddies, and we all partied up and it was great. We played our first match of the game, and the next thing you know, we're searching for a match for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and it's not putting us in a lobby. I know for a fact as well that the Infinity Ward community manager tweeted out that they're looking at a fix, and this was literally the first like hour of the beta going live. Whole first weekend went by, no fix or follow-up at all. Still for a fact doesn't work. I know that to be very true, because you would have to basically disband the party every single time. I don't know if that's a fix that takes more than 4 or 5 days to change. I thought, or just kind of took for granted, that they would fix that right away. Hopefully they change that in this beta. So yeah, guys, that is going to conclude the positives and the negatives of this game. If I had to drop a conclusion of this first week of the beta, I would say that Modern Warfare 2019 is probably the most similar to Call of Duty Ghost in terms of feel and gameplay and whatnot, and being more of a slow-paced game that has a very big glaring problem with people camping and just not moving in general. In its current state of the first week of the beta, I think the game is not good. If I had to give it a ranking out of 10, I would probably give it anywhere from a 6 to a 6.5 out of 10. And again, a common thing that hopefully you guys are taking away from this video as well is that all of the negatives that I stated, or at least a number of them, are changes that us, the community, never asked for. I just don't understand how you can make a new product and subtract a thing or kind of just a staple feature and just expect it to be fine. Don't take away what we already like and try to give us something different that we will hopefully like more, aka something like the mini map and whatnot. And the way that this game kind of feels is that I feel like it's too much of a tactical shooter game, and it's not that traditional kind of like arcade running gun shooter that we're used to and for the most part enjoying a Call of Duty game. Again, I just feel like they're taking way too many ideas out of like a Rainbow Six Siege or even a Battlefield type game. This game feels more like those games than they do Call of Duty, and that's not good. That is a recipe for disaster.
What the fuck?
Even though I have stated all of these points, and I feel like the takeaway again is that there are way more glaring negatives than positives, that is going to be my overwhelming kind of like takeaway from playing this beta. But at the same time, I am still very optimistic for this game. Hopefully week 2 of the beta turns a lot of these problems around, because even though a number of these are like smaller features that I'm just gonna have to put up with in this year of Call of Duty, a lot of these they can change. This game is not finished. I just think if anything, this first week has put a bad taste in my mouth. So yeah, guys, this is my Modern Warfare beta week 1 review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you guys enjoyed and you guys stuck around all the way to then, drop a like on this video as well as commenting down below your guys' thoughts and opinions. I definitely want to hear your guys' experience playing this game. So definitely leave all of your guys' thoughts and criticisms and whatnot in the comments down below. Also, if you guys are new, obviously drop a subscription on this channel as well as turning on the bell notifications so you guys never miss a future video here on my channel. I will have all of my Twitch and social medias linked down in the description down below if you guys haven't already followed me on those. And until next time, I will catch you guys in the next video.